Hey there, welcome on back. As always, I'm Carl with Tigris Attitude, as my professor of knives and all things sharp. So I'm back, grab your pens and paper, class is about to begin. Today we're looking at one of the new releases from CJRB, the Tiger. Yes, the Tiger, or Tigris, I'm not sure. Spelled Tigre. I've seen items with that sort of spelling pronounced both ways with the N sound. But I'm not a linguist. You figure it out. I'm just a professor of knives. All I know is it's a really interesting and sweet knife. Before we get too far into this, let's get our syllabus work out of the way, shall we? If you're new to the channel, welcome. Here on Fridays, I do mainly knife reviews. Occasionally, I'll do a review of some piece of camping or survival equipment. You know, compasses, flashlights, cooking gear, that sort of thing. But mainly knives. Now, on Mondays, I do knife basics, which you really need to know. This is aimed more at the person who's new to the world of knives and wants to know what we mean by all these fancy terms. What's a flat grind? What's a hollow grind? What is ARRPM9? What is M690? What is 8CR13 MOV? All these sorts of questions. That's what we try to answer on Mondays. Of course, there is some information there for people who've been in the field for a while, so you might enjoy it as well. And who knows, you might have something to teach me. As Isaac Asimov once said, if I ever have a day where I fail to learn something, push me over and bury me where I fell because I didn't notice I was dead. And it's very true. But on to the knife. That's what you're really here for. And as I say, it's an interesting knife. Cleaver style, as you can see. Kind of heavy blade. Not that thick, but thick enough to be noticeable. Let's see, do they mention how thick it is? Not there. Let's try. Oh yeah, 0.13 inches, which is 3.2 millimeters. For those of you who use the metric system, so it's thick enough to have some stiffness, but not so thick that it's going to cause problems. As I say, it's a heavy knife. Let me double check. Yeah, it's got a shipping weight of just under a half pound. So you're definitely going to know when you're carrying this. The blade is Artisan's new ARRPM9. For those of you who have not heard me speak of this steel, it is a new powdered steel that Artisan developed while looking for something that had the stainless capability of 14C28N, which is a Scandinavian steel, and the hardness of D2, which of course is made all over the world. And so they came up with this steel, and it seems like it's doing well on everything else I've tested it on. We'll see how it does on this. As you can see, it's black coated. They use PVD, which is positive vapor deposition, to coat the blade, but they don't say what they coated it with. On the other hand, it's beautiful. The handles are black and gray G10. The liners are black, which makes it almost impossible to tell, but they do appear to be skeletonized. Minimally skeletonized, but skeletonized. Pocket clip is a nice design, but unfortunately, it is not designed so that you can change sides, which I used to say, well, them's the brakes, but after a long discussion with someone who is a lefty, I've kind of come to the conclusion that they really should make all of these reversible. It wouldn't be that hard to do, but they didn't on this one, unfortunately. Red backspacer that combines into what could be used as a glass breaker, as well as a fairly nice lanyard hole. So if you like putting lanyards on your pocket knives, you got that option. And I gotta admit, lanyards can be great if you're in an area where you're going to be wearing gloves large part of the year. Here in South Carolina, I don't bother, but then again, about the only time I wear gloves anymore around here is when I'm hunting and I'm sitting up in a tree somewhere in the middle of November or December. Then you want your gloves, but other than that, you rarely need them here. It's got cage ball bearings, which makes it very smooth, very nice. All in all, it's just a very pleasant knife in the hand, and reasonably priced as well. But how well will it do on our standard barrier test? That's the real question. So let's find out, shall we? Start by getting out a piece of scratch paper. And let's see here. Oh man. That is just so sweet. Mainly, I'm not likely to be using this for opening envelopes or cutting paper too often, but if you did, you sure couldn't beat it with that. Let's see here, cardboard. Again, not something you're probably going to be using this particular type of knife for too often, but if you did need to use it to open up a box, no real tip, so punching through is a little tricky. You can do it, but on the other hand, that worked pretty nicely. Let's see how it works this way. Not good that way, because I'm trying to cut into tape in. Let's see about this way. Okay. I'm not trying to cut through the tape. It's shredding that like nobody's business. Sweet. And that's double gauge corrugated cardboard too. Definitely nice. And let's see here. I'm going to go to the paracord. Instead, we're going to go to strapping. The vice grips are there to simulate the weight of the buckle. So let's see how it does on this. Most of the way through. One strike. Sweet. I put it against it and instead of chopping. Very nice, neat cut. Again, very sweet. So let's go to the paracord now. And probably not something you'd use to cut paracord most of the time, but if you're taking it on a camping trip or something like that, you might need to, so. Very smooth, like butter. So far, very nice. Now here comes, as normally the real test, just barely get the tip in there. 1, 2. Nice. Okay, so we've got hang packaging. Let's see how it does on this. It's got just enough of the tip that you can get it in there. And yeah, That was fast work. That was very fast work. Very smooth. Let's see here. Leather. Let's see how it does on leather. God, I've almost got no leather left. I'm going to have to stop by and buy some more somewhere. Yeah. Very quick work of leather. Very, very sweet. I'm liking this a lot so far. You know what? We're going to do something a little strange here. It's a cleaver style. I can see someone using it to chop up food while out camping or something like that. So, just a minute. Come back here, you. There. Now, let's see if I can build this up a little bit. Cheap ass, useless cutting board. I can't imagine why anyone would want a cutting board this size. It's smaller than a regular full-size carrot or stick of celery. It just, unless you're cutting up lemons or limes at a bar, it's worthless. But we can use it for this. So maybe I can build up a platform so you can see me chopping on it. Let's see here. We got that. Does that? Not quite. That's okay. Put that there. Again, not quite. I know what will do the trick. Latest catalog from my distributor. Almost. There we go. So, baby carrots. It is cleaver style after all. Man, it's chopping those nicely. Very nice. Very nice indeed. But let's get all this out of the way. Sorry, I haven't had breakfast yet. But where were we? Alright, now that I finished chewing on that carrot, just impolite to be eating while talking to y'all. Let's see how it does with a zip tie, shall we? Right through. How about chopping the zip tie? If it chopped the carrot, I'd assume it would chop this. Yeah, it's chopping it nicely. So, put that back. Let's see, now that I've got this piece of 1x in my hand, let's see how it does on this. Buzz it up nicely. Let's see, where is my glove here? There it is. My wife keeps putting things on my desk and I can't find anything. But you don't have to tell her I complain. So, as you can see, Grains running cross. But let's see how it does on toning in spite of that. Not bad. Not bad. Maybe not the best we've tested, but definitely not anything to sneeze at. Let's replace that with a piece of hard maple. I want to see how it does on chopping. And as you know, hard maple is one of the most popular woods to make cutting boards out of because it's so hard to damage it with a knife. But let's see here. Chopping into it very nicely, but no real blade damage yet, which is sweet. Let's see here. What haven't I? Okay, 2 tests I haven't run. Let's get the wiring harness out here. How does it do on this? Pretty nicely. Pretty nicely indeed. Now let's see about putting them down. Very nice. And let's see about stripping the wire. Now that cut it. It didn't strip it, it cut it. And it cuts the wire beautifully, but it just doesn't really strip it too well. Which is a little bit of a disappointment, but on the other hand, I can't imagine many people using this to strip wires. I can almost guarantee it's not going to strike sparks with that PVD coating. We'll give it a try, but I can almost guarantee it's not going to work. Nope. It didn't. On the other hand, it doesn't look like it's even scratched the PVD coating, which is sweet. Got a few marks on there but nothing that won't polish out. Yeah, that polished out nicely. So let's go back to the piece of paper, make sure we didn't do any damage to it, shall we? Like that. Nothing. Sweet as can be. So there you have it. The CJRB Tigris. And this was requested by Birdman. I hope you enjoyed the review, man. The rest of you, I hope you enjoyed as well. Hope you learned a little something new. Hope to see you back next week. I'll leave you with a couple videos over here that I hope you'll enjoy. As always, you can hit that target to subscribe. I hope you do. Help us both out. In the meantime, it may be ability that decides what you can do. Maybe motivation decides what you will do. It's attitude that decides how well you do it. So if you're going to do anything, do it with attitude. See you now. Bye.